Alright guys, welcome back to this special live podcast from the latest Ubuntu 22.04. We'll get started here in just a few seconds. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my good friend Timo for the endless contributions, for the endless supply of red wine. Tim, thank you so much. I can tell you that the red wine has been keeping me warm here in Ohio in this very unstable, cold weather for spring. For those of you who would like to contribute to the channel, you can do so through Patreon if you wish. Just search Total OS Today. Or you can help out here on paypal.me/TOS Today. Thank you for all of your contributions. Yes, the wine is definitely fine. Yummy. And something else that is yummy is the latest Ubuntu 22.04. This has been this one has been a very pleasant surprise. It is not what I expected. It is the first Ubuntu since 16.04 where everything works. I did the upgrade and everything works, and I'll get to that here in a second or two. Let me get another drink of water to lubricate my vocals. All right. So those of you who have installed Ubuntu 22.04, and I know I will miss most of you. Sorry for that. I still haven't been able to get to set up a schedule for these live shows. If you would like to sponsor a live show, please do let me know. Okay. So let's get on with this podcast. And for those of you watching this, I will show you Ubuntu 22.04 here in just a second. So I upgraded Ubuntu 22.04 a couple of days ago before the official release, which is, well, it's today. So I guess we can call this an Ubuntu release party chat or something like that. And for those of you watching, let's go ahead and transition here. Of course, I'm using OBS Studio. Everything looks like we're in the green, so very good. Again, for those of you who I miss with this live show, my humble apologies. All right, so this is, like I said, the first Ubuntu I've done an upgrade with since 16.04 where everything works. I didn't have to fix anything. I did not have to go into the terminal commands to fix this or do that or tweak this. It's, I don't really mind that much, but, compared to other systems like, Chrome OS Flex or just Chromebooks where I don't have to fix anything, or Ubuntu Mate where I don't have to fix anything usually. It's nice to have something like this that's brand new, and I fixed nothing so far. In fact, this is the first live test from Ubuntu 22.04. All right, so let me show you this real quick. And those of you who have used Ubuntu when they switch to GNOME 3 or GNOME Shell will appreciate this. This is the first Ubuntu upgrade I've done where all my extensions work. I mean, I no error messages, no mistakes, nothing. Everything just works. I have the applications menu, the sound input and output device chooser, the transparency, the top bar transparent, and user themes. The ones at the bottom that you see here, these are the built-in themes or the built-in tweaks, extensions from Ubuntu that work. I mean, I would expect them to work, but the point I'm getting at, they all work. Out of the box, I did the upgrade. This was not a fresh install, by the way. This was an in-place upgrade. forced upgrade using the terminal. Now, that being said, it's not something I recommend to upgrade before the official release, running terminal commands. It's not that it's hard. It's that usually, well, 50-50 chance something is going to break. Okay, and if you are new to all this, and you try doing it that way, and something breaks, I don't want you to say, hey man, I tried it and Linux sucks. That would not be a fair statement. So the point I'm getting at, wait till the final release. Then usually what happens with Ubuntu Mate or Ubuntu or something similar, you will usually see a pop-up that say, hey, there's a new version, would you like to do the upgrade? That's when it's usually safe to do an in-place upgrade. It's usually best as a fresh install, but I had no problems doing this. Now moving on. All of my extensions work. After installing, doing the updates, had to do 2 reboots. Yes, I had to pull a Windows. Sorry, Linux geeks. Had to reboot twice. All of my extensions work. For example, I love me the applications menu. I think this is easier for me and definitely easier for beginners, where you have a drop-down menu from the top, in this case from the top, and you have your software by categories. I just think this is easier versus, say, doing a search, hitting the super key. Not that it's hard, but I think this is easier. So that extension works. All right, next extension is the drop-down menu from the right for my sound settings, my speakers, my microphone. And by the way, this is a brand new headset mic I just got in from Amazon. Let me know if this is any better or worse or the same to what I normally use. This was on special. I forget the name of it, sorry. I'll have to look it up later, maybe post it down below. But getting back to this, the sound and audio chooser, device chooser from the top right, works. Love it. Okay. What do we have? The transparency top bar works. You probably can't see this very well watching this here on YouTube, but just a nice little cosmetic tweak. It doesn't really do much functionality for the system. It's just a little tweak. And finally, user themes here. My final extensions, again, just for cosmetic functionality. And the point of all this is all of this works out of the box. There was nothing broken. In fact, testing the software in 22.04, there is nothing broken. Zero. I'm like, hey, is this Chrome OS Flex in disguise where like everything works? Come on, fess up, Ubuntu. That's a joke, of course. Everything works. Now this is a full install, okay? This is not virtual machine or any crap like that. Everything works. Thank you, Ubuntu team and the extensions team or teams that make all of this possible. Everything just works. Now, the GNOME desktop is still not my favorite desktop environment, at least not for beginners. But that being said, with all of these extensions installed, if you wanted to try this and you've never heard of Linux or barely know Linux, know nothing about Ubuntu, or maybe Ubuntu sounds like a power drink like Red Bull, I need more power. So definitely try this. You might like what you see. If this is not for you, then try a more traditional desktop from Linux like Linux Mint or Ubuntu Mate or even Zorin Lite. But this has been a very pleasant surprise. And once again, thank you to the team at Ubuntu for, it appears, after 5 years, finally getting it right after transitioning from the Unity desktop, which was a very good desktop. In fact, I think Ubuntu peaked with Unity back in 2016. That's why I say this is the best since Ubuntu 16.04. So let's go into the and I'll check the chat room here in a second if anybody's watching. This was not scheduled, but it's raining today. I cannot cut the grass. I figure why not? All right. Okay, system monitor. With OBS Studio, of course, Google Chrome running the live stream, 2.3 gigs. That may seem a little high, but for the GNOME desktop, GNOME Shell, whatever you want to call it, that sounds about right. It's still at least a gig less than Windows 11, which I've been enjoying also. So, yes, this is still lighter than Windows, not the lightest of Linux, but it works fine. If you are curious as to what kind of computer I am running this on, well, let me show you. Let me just type in ABO for about and view system, view information about your system. All right, this is a Gateway around 2013, I would say, DX4375G if you're curious. Maxed it out with 8 gigs of RAM. Ubuntu recommends at least 4 gigs. I would go a little higher personally with something like this. The processor is an AMD A6 5200 APU Radeon. Yeah, this is not a jet fighter, and it's not meant to be, but for testing, it's perfectly fine. And it looks like GNOME version is 42.0, which I believe is the latest GNOME version. So this, yeah, it's, you know what? And by the way, I did install an SSD in this computer. A hard disk drive would have been too slow for Ubuntu, but the SSD maxed out the RAM, and this does appear to run faster in general, so the performance tweaks, whatever they've done, appear to be working. One of the new features here is the screenshot tool that is new. So let's see if we can find it here. Let's see, I think it's called screenshot or take your screenshot or something like that. That is new. Yeah, take your screenshot. And we can it also does video, by the way. This is also a built-in recorder. It does not appear to do sound. I tested this. The screenshot tool is great. The video recording, the quality is it ain't quite there yet. But it's nice to have it built in case you need to use this out of the box without installing, say, OBS Studio or simple screen recorder. So once again, a very, very pleasant surprise. All right, let's see what else is on my list here. Give me 1 second. All right, this is the Software Center. Nice looking, by the way. I like the theme of this. When you're searching for something here, and you know, Firefox is installed by default. So I will not look up Firefox, but let's say Kdenlive, for example. And we have 4 versions of a snap package for Kdenlive. All right, let me just get this out of the way. As far as snap packages and flatpaks, personally, I think they both stuck. And the reason why is they are too slow to launch. I did a test Tuesday launching Firefox. It took about 10-12 seconds to launch. Chrome took 2 seconds. Flatpaks are slightly faster. I tried OBS Studio as a flatpak, and flatpak, maybe it's just me, but the only way to launch the flatpak was from the terminal. There was no menu. There was no. It wasn't part of the GUI, as it were. So yeah, you know, snaps and flatpaks are probably still the Linux software of the future, because they are packaged in a way where all of the dependencies are there. There's nothing else to install. But I'm not going to wait 12 seconds to launch Firefox, and I'm not going to launch OBS Studio all the time as a flatpak from the terminal. I mean, come on, this is 2022. But personal commentary on that. That being said, use what works. Now, sometimes I have to use a snap. VLC as a snap, had to use that version in Linux Mint to play my DVDs of Burn Notice. That is the only snap I have installed. I don't have any flatpaks installed because generally speaking I don't need to install snaps or flatpaks, but I can see where those can come in handy to solve a particular piece of software that just doesn't work. They have their place, but I'm not going to wait 12 seconds to launch any software. I wouldn't wait 12 seconds in Windows or Mac or Chrome, would you? And I'm not going to constantly launching software from the terminal. Not going to happen. So both of these packages still could use some work in terms of speed. That being said, putting the issue and controversy of snap packs and flatpaks, putting that out of the way, Ubuntu, this version of Ubuntu is absolutely stellar, and it works the way it should. The only glitch was Firefox taking a bit too long to launch, which is why I'm not going to use Firefox. I will use Chrome or Brave, and there's probably a Firefox PPA somewhere, deb package to download and install. That's the one I'm going to use because I don't want to, wait to paint my house till I'm done painting my house to launch Firefox from the menu. Just a personal observation. You guys use what you need to use because ultimately Linux is all about making your life easier. I hope that makes sense. All right, is there anything else I need to say? I don't think. I think that pretty much says what is on my mind for Ubuntu 22.04. My favorite still is Ubuntu Mate. Actually, Ubuntu Mate, Linux Mint, Zorin OS, you can mix and match those three as your 1, 2, 3. They're all good for beginners, and this channel was and still is designed for all 1.3 billion Windows users who maybe someday will transition and want to try a Linux-based system. This is mainly for you, of course, for everybody. So, I'm still a Windows user, so those of you who have tried Linux in the past and it was a disaster, I totally get it. A lot has changed. You should definitely check out Linux-based systems like this, or Linux Mint, or Ubuntu Mate, or Zorin to start off if you are curious about Linux. I hope this helps you out and demystifies Linux, as it were, because Linux can be perfectly functional OS operating system. Okay, let me head out into the chat here and see who we have. The Linux dude, Dominic, is in the house. Hello, how are you? Timo, how are you, sir? Timo, thank you for the endless supply of red wine. I gave you a shout out. Thank you for your contributions. The red wine keeps me warm in this crappy weather here in Ohio. All right. Tejas Sambus. I hope I say that right. Tejas, hi. When is 22.04 LTS going to release? Today, like now. And maybe, depending on where you live, maybe it has been released already. Welcome, Tejas. And I think, Tejas, if you are new here to the live chat, everybody, please say hello to Tejas. So that, yeah, it has been released. Timo says he will definitely upgrade. Yeah, it sounds good. This feels good to me. Tim says I sound good. Yeah, this is a new USB mic, no adapter. I forget the name of it. He says it sounds good. Thank you. You cut your grass today, Tim? Good. Spin Viking is in the house. Hi there. So you will try this Ubuntu? No more hopping or dual booting? Okay, cool. Um, yeah, look so far, and once again, this is my first live test with 22.04. I'm not seeing any complaints here in the chat, so apparently this is good. Now I do have to, I have to confess that I cannot stream on this PC. I cannot stream in full HD. It just chokes. It's just, yeah, the processor just won't handle it. So I'm processing or streaming in 720p, which is fine. One of these days I'll get a new PC. Chris is in the house. Hi, Chris. Welcome. How are you? So, yeah, so far this is working out pretty well, and I'm very happy with the latest Ubuntu 22.04. Tim says you're more than welcome on the Carlo Rossi Fund. Yes, got to keep the blood flowing. Absolutely got to keep the blood flowing. Flowing or flowing? Oh, man. Uh, anyway, thank you. All right, I'll stick around for a little bit more. Again, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching this later on. Sorry that I missed you guys. I have not been able to set up a steady schedule here for the live shows. We're still looking for sponsors and contributors to the live show. So, by the way, if those of you who are watching this, if you look below, there's a new join button that was recommended by YouTube. And you can contribute and join us through the channel that way, and join us on private chats if you wish, or live shows. I think YouTube takes 30% of the proceeds if you click that, which is fair because they do all the work. Anyway, hello, Sedan Smith. I just see that you popped on. How are you? Dan just dropped in. Thank you. Is also a longtime supporter of the channel. How are you? No, that picture you see of the microphone on the graphic, that is not the one that I bought. I just think it looks good. I'm testing a new headset mic, Dan. I don't have the name of this, but yeah, this is just a standard USB mic, volume control, mute control in the line. But the graphic you see on the screen is a singer's microphone. I am not Stephanie Forian. I do not sing, but I just think it looks good. So, yeah. But yes, Ubuntu 22.04 does get a new microphone graphic. Howdy, Sedan. If there is anybody else new who is watching and would love and wants to say hello or have a question or a comment, please do. It's always great to virtually meet new people around the world. And even if you're not using Linux, please do come on and say hello. Or maybe you tried Linux in the past and it was a disaster. That's okay. Let us know why. Maybe we can help you out with that. I don't know. Tejas is in India. Wow. It's not released yet there. Okay, it should be soon, I would imagine. Tejas, and welcome. Wow, all the way from India. Cool. There are quite a few great tech personality YouTube channels that come out of India that I thoroughly enjoy. Great folks over there in India. All right, why don't we do this here for the last? I'll stick around for another 5. I'll stick around another 5, 10 minutes or so. Then we'll wrap this up. Why don't we transition here to the screen? And let's see here. Let's just do this so you guys can see the chat. That's good enough. The logo there at the bottom left isn't quite right, but I'll just leave it the way it is. I get comments about that newsreader there at the top that you are seeing. That is called Ticker. Tickr. And this is for, you could also install this in Windows, by the way. Looking at the ticker feed, it says Honda teams up with GM on self-driving cars. Oh boy, that's the end of Honda. The internet industry is suing California over its net neutrality law. Ooh, okay. Did you guys see where Elon Musk offered an enormous amount of money for Twitter, and then he decided, or something happened, now he's not going to buy it, or something like that? Wow. Oh well. Not even sure if Twitter is even worth that much. Um, yeah. The wallpaper here, let's take a look. Let's go to change background. And yeah, not a lot. I actually took a screenshot. I've been watching, I have Paramount Plus subscription. I've been watching Halo. By the way, Halo Episode 5 releases today. I will check that out. So these are some of the other wallpapers here. They're fine. You know, it's a wallpaper, so that one looks good there. I took a shot of the Starship Enterprise while watching Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the director's cut. A little bit dark there, but anyway, yeah, standard wallpaper pretty much. And you know, not a lot, but I mean, how many do you need, right? How much wallpaper do you need? So maybe we'll go with the blue one for this. How does that sound? Sure, why not? We have Bogdan Ristik. I hope I say that right. He asks, hello, is there information about the release time? For some people, it should be today, depending on where you live. This should have been already released. This, I did a forced upgrade on this a couple days ago using some terminal commands that I don't normally recommend. That's how I was able to upgrade this, but it should be released sometime today or tomorrow. But the official release date is today, as far as I know. Elon counter offered and is trying to deal with board members. I see. Okay. Tim was asking if you can keep your 20.04 wallpapers on 22.04. I don't know, Tim, but that being said, if for some reason they are replaced, you can always download them after, you know, and reinstall them. Should not be a big deal. Those of you who install this, let me know if you install a bunch of extensions like I did. Let me know if they work for you. If you are new, again, you should definitely install the applications menu. Number one, you should definitely install the sound input and output device chooser. The transparency top bar tweak and the user themes, you don't really need those, but the top two, 100% have those installed to make life easier. The bottom, the default extensions seem to work fine out of the box. But the top two that I'm showing you here, applications menu, sound, device chooser, that's going to make life a lot easier for you guys. Yeah, Dad says just back up the wallpaper. Sure. The ticker feed says Apple staff makes a bid for its first union at a US store. Well, good for them. All right, I'll stick around for 5 more minutes. It's almost 10:30 here. I'm going to have my breakfast. Has anybody, let me ask you guys a question, and those of you who come across this podcast later, let me ask you guys a question, all of you. Do you guys really like or had any issues installing and running snaps or packs packages in general? As a general rule, I don't care for them. I still prefer .deb packages for Ubuntu based. Occasionally, yes, I have to install a snap package. Dominic says no issues with flatpaks, plenty issues with snaps. Okay. Like I said, I installed the LBS version or the Flatpak version of OBS Studio, and the only way I could launch it was from the terminal. That's not going to fly with me. Snap packages, they're okay. They're a little slow, but they work. Tejas says it is 8 p.m. there in India, and you're still waiting for Ubuntu to be released. Yeah, it should have been released. If it's 8 p.m. there, yeah, the Canonical is based in the UK, the United Kingdom, or as I call it, the Ubuntu Kingdom. So I don't know officially. They're going by their time, I'm sure, as far as the official release. But any time now it should be released, or maybe tomorrow, depending where you live. Like I said, I did a full install of this, a full upgrade Tuesday, before the official release, and it seems to be working. All right, so then you are a Mint user. The only Flatpak you have is the Chrome browser. Do you have to launch that from the terminal, or is it in the menu? And how long do you have to wait for it to launch? I don't mind waiting a few extra seconds, but when I tested Firefox on this, it was like a good 10-12 seconds, and that's just unacceptable. Granted, this test machine is not the fastest, but if Chrome launches in 2 seconds, Firefox launches in 12 seconds, boy, that's a tough one. Which one am I going to pick? You avoid the terminal, so the Flatpak launches from the menu. Okay, cool. We have Patricio Cajeres Torres. I hope that I say that right. ¿A qué horas? Sorry, my Spanish is a little. ¿A qué hora el nuevo Ubuntu un novero en página? Okay. Patricio is asking when is the new Ubuntu going to be released. He does not see it yet on the webpage for Ubuntu. I think if I got my Spanish right. Patricio, no estoy seguro. Um, Maybe mañana. Officially today. Yes, you should still be able to get Ubuntu from the UK server. Yeah, Dan, you're absolutely right. You can still download from their server. You don't have to wait for the official release. We have in the house Pancake Sparkle. What a great name. Oh, pancakes sound yummy right. I haven't had my breakfast. Thanks for making me hungry, Pancake. No, I'm just kidding. Arch user here. Very good. Install OBS Flatpak. It launches instantly from the menu. Okay, cool, man. Cool. Like I said, I had to launch it from the terminal in Ubuntu Mate. I don't know why. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But that's cool. So how many seconds do you have to wait for Flatpak to launch? So Dan, you like the voice to text app for Chrome? Okay. Let me just say that since Ubuntu switched uh, twice. First, they started off with the traditional GNOME desktop. Then they switched to Unity. A lot of controversy on that. I remember 10 years ago. I thought it was fine. There was more controversy switching to the GNOME desktop. Um, and I totally get it. It's one of those love me or hate me things with Ubuntu. I understand it. Right now with this release, it's more of a love relationship with me, and mainly because everything works. I don't have to fix anything so far. And I will recommend anything that's stable and works, even if it's not my favorite. Why would I not recommend something that works? All right, so you have an NVMe drive, Pancake. Okay, yeah, that's definitely going to make it run faster. Yeah, make everything run faster. All right, a few more minutes and we'll wrap this up. Any final comments, questions? And we'll wrap this up for this special live podcast for Ubuntu 22.04. Pancake Sparkle says, you missed GNOME too. Well, look, you can install Ubuntu Mate, which is a modified version of the GNOME 2 desktop. The Mate desktop is basically GNOME 2. So, yeah, it's not gone. It's just not in the standard Ubuntu. So if you really, really like GNOME 2, which is my favorite still, the Mate desktop pretty much does that for you. Dominic says, what about the dark theme? It's here in Ubuntu. I mean, it's there. Hi, Nazi. How are you? He says, I'm late. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's in the accent colors for the themes, Dominic. Yeah. Spin says 16.04 was great. Is Ubuntu back to its glory days? With this release, it appears so. This is the best since 16.04 so far in my tests. Yeah, 2 days running this since Tuesday. Um, and by the way, this looks great on a 50-inch 4K TV. I can't I can't run this natively in 4K because the processor is just too slow. But even in non 4K, uh, it looks great. Ubuntu looks great. Yeah. Well, looking at the Ticker News reader, it says we have a new audio player, Amberall. Isn't that something I put on my rash, on a skin rash? Amberall, these names. Anyway, that's what it says, Amberall. Okay, whatever. Nazi says you're waiting for Pop! OS 22.04. Pop! OS is good too. Modified version of GNOME Shell. Okay, well, let me just say before we wrap this up, this appears to be working great. My first live stream from 22.04. I don't notice any glitches. You guys, no complaints here in the chat as far as the stream. Testing this new mic. Again, I'll have to look at the box, look at my, see what it is, and I'll post it below in the comments if you would like. If you need a new mic, I'll post an Amazon link. This seems to work okay. It's a little bit slightly heavier than what I'm used to, but it seems to work. It's nice being able to plug in straight into the USB port without a USB adapter from an older style mic, so maybe I'll keep it. Anyway. Yeah, Amberall sounds like medicine rather than a music player. Yeah, Linux developers and their names. Dead Beef is another audio player. I prefer Live Cow. You know, what is Linux? You know, before I say goodbye, what is Linux? Linux is so many different things to so many different people, right? Since I've been doing this since 2006, we're running Linux since 2006. Linux is hard. Linux is easy. Linux is a puzzle. Linux is great. Linux is a freaking nightmare. Linux sucks. Brian Lunduk makes me laugh. Linux sucks. Linux is better than Windows. If you don't value your time, don't use Windows. That's what Linux is. Those are just some of the comments. Linux is the best. Linux is the worst. Linux is something to waste your time. Linux is toxic. Those are some of the comments over the years. But in the end, Linux is everywhere. As I'm looking up at the spy satellite. Right? That's what Linux is. Many different things to so many different people. Anyway. Yep, I've been enjoying Windows 11. I call it as I see it. It's the best Windows since Windows 7. Don't use Windows that much. Usually Linux 80% of the time or so. But Windows 11, I think it's fine. Yeah, the EULA for Windows, it's a nightmare. Hey, the web is a nightmare when it comes to privacy, right? Not just one company. So, yeah. Tim says Linux is just awesome. Found all of you great friends because of Linux. Amen, Tim. On that note, I will leave it with that. Yes, Linux means friendship. All right. Thanks to all of you and some of the new folks who popped in. I think you're new. Tejas, Pancake, and that person, gentleman, I think it was a guy who posted something in Spanish. Sorry, my Spanish is a little rust. The question was, when is Ubuntu going to be released? Officially it's today. You may have to wait until tomorrow, depending where you live, for the official release. Thank you to all of you who continue to help support this channel. Again, if you would like to contribute to the channel, you can check out Total OS Today on Patreon, paypal.me/TossToday, or click the join button below here as you're watching this. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Some do. Or if you want to join us on private chats, you can. And that's it. Great to have all of you here. So I think I'll end it with that. Check out Ubuntu 22.04. The best Ubuntu since 16.04. Arrivederci.